You walk into a room that's already full, a party where everyone arrived before you, a meeting that started without you, and on your way to a seat, you do the small human thing. You catch your foot on a chair leg, you say hello a beat too loud. Coffee jumps the rim of the cup and onto your hand, and in that instant you feel it click on above your head. A spotlight, warm, blinding, aimed straight down, and every face in the room turned up to watch. Your ears go hot. You are certain, absolutely certain, that this is the thing they will remember about you. Here is what the research actually says. That spotlight has almost no one standing under it but you. This is the spotlight effect, and it is one of the most quietly life-shaping illusions your mind runs. Because the feeling doesn't end when you sit down, it follows you home. It's 3 nights later, lying in the dark, and your brain cues up the tape again. The stumble, the too loud hello, the coffee. Still cringing, still convinced that somewhere across town, the people who saw it are thinking about it too. They are not. Every one of them walked out of that room and straight back into the only movie that has ever truly held their attention, the one starring themselves. There is a gap here, and a wide one, between how much you think you were noticed and how much you actually were. And for the last few decades, psychologists have been measuring, very precisely, just how wide that gap gets. The person who finally put a number on it was a Cornell psychologist named Thomas Gilovich. In the year 2000, he and his colleagues ran a study that has since become a small classic. And it began with the most deliberately awkward thing they could dream up. They took a college student, handed them a t-shirt, and asked them to put it on. Not a cool shirt. A large, glossy portrait of Barry Manilow, a singer those students had rated as deeply, almost heroically uncool. Then they walked the student down the hall to a room where several strangers were already sitting and filling out forms, sat them down for a few minutes, and pulled them back out. Then came the question: how many people in that room do you think could tell who was on your shirt? The students guessed, on average, that 46% had clocked it. Nearly half the room, they were sure, had looked up, registered the single most embarrassing t-shirt in the building, and filed it away. So the researchers turned around and asked the strangers directly. The real number who could actually name Barry Manilow was 23%, less than 1 in 4. The wearers had doubled it. They had walked through a room feeling half of it turned to look, when the truth is that most people there never glanced up at all. Now you could explain that away. Of course we fixate on our most embarrassing moments, you'd say. It's the cringe that burns them in. So Gilovich closed that door too. He ran the whole thing again, but this time he let the students wear a shirt they would be proud of. A face they admired. Bob Marley, Jerry Seinfeld, and the wearers were just as convinced they would be noticed, guessing 48%. This time, the real number was 8%. 8. When it's a shirt you love, almost nobody sees that either. Which means the spotlight was never really about embarrassment at all. It was about something bigger and stranger. We overestimate how much we are seen, period. So the real question becomes, where does a feeling that powerful even come from? The researchers had a clean way to find out. They took another group of people, and instead of making them wear the shirt, they simply showed them a video of someone else wearing it, walking into that same room. And watched from the outside, the illusion just evaporates. Those viewers guessed the real number almost perfectly. The overestimate only appeared when you were the one inside the shirt. So this isn't about thinking other people are more observant than they are. Everybody, deep down, knows a room full of strangers is barely paying attention. Something else happens, something that only happens to the person actually standing under the spotlight. And here is that something, the gear underneath the whole illusion. When you are wearing that shirt, you are drowning in the fact of it. You can feel the fabric. You pictured yourself in it on the way over. It is blazing at the dead center of your own attention. And your mind quietly assumes that whatever is that huge on the inside must be huge on the outside too. Gilovich proved it with one last elegant twist. He ran the Barry Manilow study one more time, but made one group wait a few minutes before walking in, just long enough for the shirt to cool off in their own minds. The group sent in immediately, shirts still burning bright to them, guessed 51% would notice. The group who waited guessed 37%. Nothing about the strangers had changed. The only thing that moved was how loud the shirt was inside the wearer's own head. That is the entire engine. You start from your own vivid experience, and you never subtract enough of it to imagine anyone else's. And it does not stop at t-shirts, because that same machinery runs on your feelings, and that is where it really gets you. Gilovich's team found a twin to the spotlight effect and gave it a name of its own: the illusion of transparency. It goes like this. When you are nervous, you are certain it is written all over your face. Your heart is slamming, your thoughts are scrambling, and it feels impossibly loud, like a signal anyone in the room could tune into. So they tested exactly that. They made people tell lies. They made people hide their disgust at a genuinely foul drink. They made people give speeches with their hearts in their throats. And every single time, the person was sure they had been caught, sure their panic was obvious. And every single time, the observers just shrugged. They mostly saw someone who looked completely, unremarkably fine. The storm you feel on the inside barely reaches the surface, which sounds like pure relief, and it is, right up until you notice the bill this illusion has been quietly running up your entire life. Because a spotlight you believe in changes what you do. It is the reason the hand doesn't go up in the meeting. It's the reason the question stays unasked, the speech ungiven, the gym unvisited, the idea unposted, the person across the room never spoken to. Every one of those is a small surrender to an audience that was never actually watching. And it is a genuinely staggering thing to sit with. How much of a life a person can quietly narrow year after year just to stay safe from the judgment of people who, it turns out, were far too busy starring in a movie of their own. So what are you supposed to actually do with that? The obvious answer is to just stop caring what anyone thinks. But that is useless advice, and no one in the history of the world has ever managed it. Here is the better news. The researchers found something that works, and it is much smaller than you would expect. Not a personality transplant, not years of work on yourself, just a single piece of knowledge handed over at the right moment. And they were able to prove it changed how well a nervous person actually performed. They went straight back to the thing most people fear the most, public speaking, and they split nervous speakers into 3 groups before anyone stood up. The first group got nothing and just gave their speech. The second group got the usual comfort, the pep talk. Don't worry, everybody gets nervous, it's completely normal. And the third group got one specific fact. They were taught about the illusion of transparency. That the nerves they were about to feel would be far less visible to the room than they would seem from the inside. Then everyone spoke. And the group that just got reassured did no better than the group that got nothing at all. But the group that understood the illusion gave measurably better speeches, rated higher by themselves, and, the part that matters most, rated higher by the people watching them. The comfort did nothing. The knowledge worked. Simply understanding the gap was enough to start closing it. So walk back into that room one more time. It's full of people. Your foot catches the chair, the coffee jumps the cup, and that spotlight snaps on overhead. Only now you know the truth about it. It has exactly one bulb, and you are the one holding the switch. The strangers didn't look up. The few who did have already forgotten. And the nerves you are sure are glowing off of you are, to everyone else in that room, invisible. That is the strange gift buried in all of this research. The spotlight was never proof that you were being judged. It was only ever proof of how vividly you live inside your own head. And the moment you can see that gap for what it really is, you get to step straight through it and finally go do the thing you were always going to be perfectly fine doing. If any of this landed for you, subscribing really is the only reason a small channel like this one gets to keep making them. I'll see you in the next one.